program. May kasama po ba doon na maintenance of safe houses?
Wala po, Your Honor.
Then can you please enlighten us? Bakit po dito sa good governance program ni Vice President Duterte may nasamang maintenance of safe houses under confidential fund?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, wala po akong knowledge doon sa disbursement and utilization ng confidential funds.
Nonetheless, Mr. Chair, I wish to manifest that although both Vice President Robredo and Vice President Duterte,
Congresswoman Luistro, maybe we can ask Attorney Sanchez because I noticed that her name was included in that document.
Ms. Sanchez, Attorney Sanchez,
Yes, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
do you confirm that Vice President Robredo has good governance program also?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Would you
Your Honor.
confirm that under Vice President Robredo's good governance program, there is no confidential fund?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And
Your
would
Honor.
you further confirm that under Vice President Robredo's good governance program, there is no maintenance of safe houses?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
Please enlighten us. Bakit po pagdating sa programa, same program, good governance program of Vice President Duterte, biglang nagkaroon ng confidential fund, biglang nagkaroon ng maintenance of safe houses?
Your Honor, the budget was proposed by the Office of the Vice President, and it would be for different programs, Your Honor. But as to the details, Your Honor, I do not have information on the specific details and items to be spent under the confidential expense.
Would it
Your
be
Honor.
correct to say that the key officials of Vice President Duterte altered the menu of the good governance program of then Vice President Robredo?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, I think that would be a possible explanation, Your Honor.
And are they really allowed to alter the program?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, from my understanding, Your Honor, yes, that may be allowed because in the budget of the OVP, there is a general item, Your Honor, only, which is the good governance program.
In other words, Attorney Sanchez, that good governance program is just a nomenclature.
It's like
And as to what will be the menu under the good governance program, that will depend on the Vice President. Am I correct?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, that is my understanding, Your Honor.
And who therefore prepared the program of the good governance program under the time of Vice President Duterte?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, that would be the Office of the Vice President, Your Honor.
Can you please cite the name? Who in particular among the key officials prepared?
Your Honor, I do not have the specific information on who the particular persons who prepared, but the request was submitted to the Budget Division, Your Honor.
Nevertheless, Mr. Chair, in spite of the admission of Attorney Sanchez that they can alter, what is clear, the program Good Governance under Vice President Duterte suddenly include confidential fund and maintenance of safe houses, items which were never seen and which were never included in the program of Vice President Robredo. Am I correct, ma'am?
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
Another important observation, Mr. Chair, Attorney Sanchez. Last quarter of December 2022, OVP spent 16 million for maintenance of safe houses. Do you confirm?
I have no personal knowledge, Your Honor.
May we know if any one of you has personal knowledge about this? Ms. Villa del Rey?
None, Your Honor.
Nevertheless, let me finish this manifestation. 2022 last quarter, the OVP spent 16 million for maintenance of safe houses. This was followed by 2023, first quarter, another 16 million for maintenance of safe houses. This was followed by 2023, second quarter, another 16 million for maintenance of safe houses. And finally, 2023, third quarter, this time 5 million maintenance of safe houses. The only conclusion that I can derive from 2022 last quarter to the third quarter of 2023, meron kayong informants or assets whom you are keeping in the safe houses that the OVP is renting. The question, however, is, why suddenly, pagdating ng last quarter ng 2023, wala nang expenditure for safe houses or not even for confidential fund? San po napunta yung informant at assets nyo, which you have been keeping in your safe houses from the last quarter of 2022 to the third quarter of 2023? Yun po ba inabandon ng OVP? Yun po ba biglang nag-disappear? I understand that you have no personal knowledge, but at least please give us a reasonable interpretation of what happened. Why suddenly, in the last quarter of 2023, nawala ang maintenance ng safe houses, which means nawala din ang informants at saka assets. Where did they go? Ms. Villa del Rey?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I cannot answer the question since I don't have really knowledge of the utilization of the confidential fund.
Attorney Sanchez?
Your Honor, I also apologize, same as the answer of Ms. Villa del Rey, Your Honor.
Mr. Kevin?
Same, Mr. Chair. I have no knowledge or participation in the utilization of the confidential funds.
Ms. Rabago?
Same, Mr. Chair. I don't have a personal knowledge on the utilization of the confidential
Ms.
funds.
Villa del Rey, can you at least tell us who has the personal knowledge over these matters?
Based on the JC and based on the issuance of cash advance, it is the Special Disbursing Officer
Who
as
is?
the accountable officer.
Can you please cite the name of the Special Disbursing Officer?
As shown in the check, Your Honor, it is Ms. Gina Acosta.
And apart from Ms. Gina Acosta, who else has personal knowledge over these matters?
I don't have idea, Your Honor. I
And you
don't have
confirm
knowledge.
that Gina Acosta, the Special Disbursing Officer, whom you described earlier as confidential official with salary grade 24, is one of those who were subpoenaed and who did not appear. Tama po ba?
Tama po, Your Honor.
Thank you. I have nothing further, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congresswoman Luistro.
Mr.
Yes,
Chair,
Deputy Speaker
I just
J.D.
wanted
Suarez.
to ask a question. Attorney Sanchez, yung binanggit po ni Congressman Luistro na Special Disbursement Officer, ano pong pangalan niya? Gina Acosta. Yeah. She was the one cited in contempt, correct? Yeah. Along with Fajarda. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to get that clear. Thank you very much.
Your Honor, may we please recognize the presence of Honorable Jonathan Kitty Flores from 2nd District of Bukidnon and Honorable Steve C. Solon from the Lone District of Sarangani. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, the Chair would like to recognize the next interpellator, the Honorable Jefferson Konghun. You have the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, gusto ko pong i-direct ang aking katanungan kay Ginoong Jerome Tenedo.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair.
Good afternoon po. Bilang eksperto po no, sa budget and planning, budget preparation, familiar po kayo sa estimation at forecasting ng mga budget. Kumbaga, i-request mo yung budget, nagre-request ka ng budget na kaya mong i-utilize. Tama po ba?
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
So pag nag-request ka ng budget for 1 year, kaya mong siguraduhin na ito kayang-kaya mong i-utilize ng 1 taon.
Should be, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So pag nag-request ka naman ng 1 quarter, ng 1 quarter, yung in-request mo rin, kaya mong i-utilize sa 1 quarter.
Should be, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Mr. Kelvin, ano ang trabaho mo sa OVP?
Isa po akong budget officer. Involved po ako sa paggawa ng budget proposal during budget proposal submission to DBM. And then during budget legislation sa mga hearing po ng Committee on APRO, gumagawa din po kami ng documents to be ready documents for the hearing.
Okay. Kanina may tinanong si Congresswoman Jinky kanina.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yung na-alter, no? Kasi sinabi kanina, walang budget, no? Walang nakalagay na budget para dun sa confidential fund o maintenance, no? Ng mga safe houses nung panahon ni VP Robredo. Tapos nung naging si VP Duterte nagkaroon na ng budget for maintenance ng mga safe houses. May kinalaman ka ba sa bilang budget officer, may kinalaman ka ba sa paglalagay ng budget na ito?
Specifically for safe houses, wala po, Mr. Chair.
Di ba sa'yo dumadaan lahat, lalong-lalo na pag mga request ng mga budget, siyempre may kinalaman ka sa paglalagay ng menu, pagdagdag ng menu, no? Sa budget nito.
That's correct, Mr. Chair. But in general sense po yung naging nakalagay sa letter as confidential expenses or confidential fund, wala pong breakdown na merong maintenance of safe houses.
So yung nakalagay sa budget ng OVP na nakalagay doon is maintenance for safe houses. Wala kang kinalaman dito? Hindi ikaw ang naglagay dito sa inyong budget proposal?
Yes, at the time of submission of request, wala pong ganong specific na expense type or need, sir.
So paano to nailagay sa budget ng OVP kung hindi dumaan sa inyo? Yung maintenance ng mga safe houses?
Sir, Mr. Chair, the maintenance of safe houses is part of the confidential expenses. Yung umbrella term na confidential expense po, yung naging part ng letter. However, doon sa letter, hindi na po nakaspecify ano po yung mga menu or items under confidential expenses na paggagamitan ng confidential fund.
Sino ang naglagay ng menu na ito?
I have no knowledge po, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Mr. Kevin, no, responsibility niyo din sa bilang budget officer na mag-flag down, no, ng mga deficiencies or flaws. Pag meron kayo nakikita sa budget implementation ng OVP, tama po ba?
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
Sa paggastos ng mga pondong natanggap din ng OVP?
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
May mga napansin ka bang irregularidad sa paggastos ng 125 million confidential fund ng OVP?
Wala po, Mr. Chair. I have no knowledge with regards to utilization. The budget division is mainly involved on the early phase po on the request of cash advance for confidential activities.
So wala kang alam, lalong-lalo na sa kung paano ni-utilize?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Kay Madam Rosalyn Sanchez, di ba po kayo ang pumipirma ng cheque? Kasama po kayo sa pumipirma ng cheque?
Mr. Chair.
Attorney Sanchez, you are recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. That is correct, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
So, mahan niyo pong cheque, naayon po ba o tama ang paggastos?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, at the time that the cash advance is issued, there is still no utilization yet. So nangyayari po yung issuance ng check at the start. So yung utilization phase po, hindi na po covered ng signature ko on the check, Your Honor, and also under the joint circular, Your Honor. It is not also part of my duties and responsibilities, Your Honor.
Lahat po sa iisang araw.
Mr. Chair, may I be recognized?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Attorney Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, It is actually a common process for the OVP to process cash advances within 1 day. We prioritize cash advances as a generally, Mr. Chair. The way our office is organized, Mr. Chair, is that the accounting and cash divisions are close to each other. So it would not take several hours for the documents to reach the cash division. And my office is also just near the cash division and the accounting divisions, Your Honor, because they are under my office. So in terms of processing, there is nothing unusual for us to be able to process cash advances within 1 day. In fact, in our Citizens Charter, for internal services for cash advances, our usual turnaround time is 1 to 2 days, Your Honor. Also, for the cash advance for confidential funds, there are just a few documentary requirements which are required to be attached to the disbursement voucher. And so it's not very difficult to browse through the documentary requirements, Your Honor.
Thank you, Attorney Sanchez. May we please pose the same question, Mr. Chair, to Ms. Villa Del Rey? Before you certified it
Ms.
po,
Villa de Rey, you are recognized.
what diligence checks did you do?
Upon receipt of the disbursement voucher for the issuance of confidential fund, Your Honor, we check the required documents under the joint circular. If it is complete, if it is complete with all the documentary requirements, I certify the portion which is the Annex B of the DB. I'll check the cash availability and check the completion of the supporting documents. And then after that, we transfer it to the cash division.
Mr. Chair, siguro yun po, given the amount in question, sinabi po ni Attorney Sanchez 1 to 2 days. Kaya po, bakit tinapos lahat ng 1 day? Tinitignan ko po yung the dates would be December 20, 2023. That's Thursday. Kaya po ba hinabol? Dahil, sorry, that's a Wednesday. Kaya po ba hinabol? Kasi gusto niyo po ma-encash by the end of the week? Ganun po ba yun?
Mr. Chair, hindi naman po sa hinabol, but as a matter of course, kapag may cash advance po, we really generally prioritize, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Mr. Chair. Thank you. If I may move, Mr. Chair, to the fourth disbursement voucher. If ComSec may please show us. Siguro po here, apart from the speed by which it was issued, perhaps the most glaring, the fourth one po. Thank you, ComSec. Perhaps the most glaring thing that I would like to note here is at the bottom left corner, you would see that there is no signature under the receipt of payment, meaning the special disbursing officer did not sign that and attest that she received the check. So siguro po, tatanungin ko po, Mr. Chair, ang OVP, paano po nangyari to? Isang 125 million pesos na cheque na hinayaan lang po natin na makalusot yung disbursement voucher nang hindi po pumipirma yung special disbursing officer na nagpapatunay na natanggap niya po yung cheque para sa 125 million pesos. Sino po ang nag-check ng mga disbursement vouchers natin? Ms. Villa Del Rey, as the accountant, is that not under your purview to make sure that these documents are in order po?
Your Honor, for the Annex E, which is the receipt of the check, it is the responsibility of the cash division for the issuance of the check to the SDO or to the payee of the disbursement voucher.
Opo, Mr. Villa Del Rey, hindi po siya sa issuance of the check. It's the receipt. It's the attestation that the receipt, that the check has been received by the SDO.
Yes, Your Honor, the receipt of the check. Once receipt ng check po, the claimant or the payee of the DB should sign at the bottom part of the disbursement voucher. So it is the responsibility of the other division who handle the issuance of check.
Ma'am,
To ensure.
pakilapit niyo po. Hindi po kayo marinig.
Yes. Again, Your Honor, it is the responsibility of the division who issued the check to the claimant to have it signed.
Wala pong nakapansin na hindi po na-receive ng SDO, hindi po din-receive ng SDO yung disbursement voucher.
No,
Yun lang po, Mr. Chair. Perhaps the correct person to ask is not here with us today. So maybe what I would like to highlight here is there may be some lapses in the internal controls of the Office of the Vice President. If the release of the checks, in terms of looking at the disbursement vouchers and the checks, are not scrutinized thoroughly by the OVP. Ganito po kalaki, as described by Attorney Sanchez, this is the biggest check she has ever signed off on. Pero may problema po sa internal controls dahil po nakakalusot yung mga ganitong lapses na hindi po na a-attest ng SDO na nare-release po yung funds. Last question po, before I move on, may I ask po, sorry, cash division. Naisip ko lang po, hindi po ba under niyo po yon yung cash division, Attorney Sanchez? So actually, you're here to be able to answer that question. That
Attorney
should be
Sanchez.
your responsibility to check po.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, when I checked, there are 3 copies of the disbursement vouchers, and only 1 copy is required to be signed by the SDO. The copy that was signed by the SDO was actually retained by the accounting division, and it may not be the same copy that was forwarded to the resident auditor. Nonetheless, we have a copy that was actually signed by the special disbursing officer. In addition, Mr. Chair, as to the matter of internal controls, in addition to the disbursement voucher, there is an additional control in place that requires the special disbursing officer to sign the warrant of checks. That there is a logbook of the checks that is released by the cash division. And as far as I am aware, Your Honor, she was able to sign that warrant of checks.
Given that that's the copy that was furnished to COA, may please furnish this committee with that copy that you're talking about that's signed by, is that Ms. Acosta who signed it?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Please furnish a copy to this committee.
We will do, Mr. Chair.
And Mr. Chair, since Ms. Acosta is not here, I would like to ask our resource persons present here, would anyone know whether the SDO has a bond, meaning Ms. Acosta has a bond, and if yes, how much? Ms. Villa del Rey, as the Chief Accountant, would you know?
Yes. Your Honor, for the bond of Ms. Acosta, the amount of bond is 8 million for 3 years, Your Honor. It was released through a confirmation letter on November 3, 2022, Your Honor.
$8 million lang po yung bond niya?
That is the amount of bond for a maximum amount of accountability, 500 million, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, do we know what salary grade Ms. Acosta is? Would anyone know on the part of the OVP? Kasi ang laki po nung
Yes.
500 million po yung maximum.
Your Honor, her position and at salary grade 24. 24, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, for someone who is occupying a salary grade 24 position, 500 million pesos seems to be a huge amount to give in terms of accountability, Mr. Chair. So just wanted to note that, Mr. Chair, for the record of the committee, that Ms. Gina Acosta actually can disburse up to 500 million pesos as the special disbursing officer. And Mr. Chair, balik lang po ako before I end doon po sa kanina with regard to the satellite offices. So if we compute what percentage the satellite offices take up in terms of the expenses of the OVP. So for 2023, the total GAA amount, the total budget for the OVP is 2.3 billion pesos. And since 1.02 billion pesos po yung expenses associated with the satellite offices, it takes up 45% of the total expenses of the OVP. For the year 2024, so far, out of the 1.9 billion pesos funds of the OVP, the 893 million expenses for the OVP translates to 48% of the total budget of the OVP, Mr. Chair. So napakalaki po talaga, halos kalahati ng OVP, the OVP budget, yung tinitake up na satellite offices. So we really need to do a close scrutiny as to whether these satellite offices are necessary and whether they actually contribute to the OVP in terms of fulfilling its mandate, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Chair, those are my questions po. Thank you very much, Ms. Villa del Rey, Attorney Sanchez, Mr. Tenido, and Ms. Rabago for allowing me to propound questions. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Yes, the next interpellator is Congressman Asidre. You're recognized.
Magandang hapon po, Mr. Chair. Nais ko pong magtanong kay Attorney Rosaline Sanchez. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes,
Attorney Sanchez, ikaw po ay isa sa mga approving officers ng Fidelity Bonds, tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Kailan po kayo naging approving officer ng mga Fidelity Bonds?
Mr. Chair, from my assumption to office, Mr. Chair,
Kailan po ito?
July 19, 2022, Mr. Chair.
2022. Attorney Sanchez, siguro pamilyar naman kayo sa purpose ng Fidelity Bonds, no? Ito ay to ensure against losses, shortages, defalcation by officers or employees accountable for public funds. Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
In other words, ito ay to ensure na gagamitin sa tama at sa mga specified purposes lamang yung public funds na inassign sa kanila. Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So, Attorney Sanchez, can you walk us through the process of the Fidelity Bonds? Who determines po ba the value of the Fidelity Bond to be posted by the concerned government employee?
That would be based, Your Honor, on the amount of the liability, the cash advance that would be issued to the Special Disbursing Officer, Your Honor.
So, wala pong guidelines, formula na meron pong guidelines, formula
May matrix po yung Bureau of Treasury, Your Honor. And we provide them with a copy of the special order of the disbursing officer, Your Honor.
So, kung may amount na ni-sinet for the Fidelity Bond, ano pong sunod? Yung government employee concerned would post the bond?
That would be the agency, Your Honor, through the accounting division.
Pero manggagaling po yung pera sa
The agency, Your Honor.
Sa agency?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
hindi sa empleyado.
Hindi po.
So, paano po sila check or cash? Paano yun?
As far as I recall, Your Honor, for the payments to the Bureau of Treasury, it is through LDDAP-ADA, so fund transfer, Your Honor, to the Bureau of Treasury.
Pero sino yung tumatanggap ng bond? Si Treasury?
Yes, Your Honor.
From you?
Yes.
In
Your
this
Honor.
case, for all the accountable officers, kayo yung nag-post ng bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
Kayo yung nag-transfer ng bond sa Treasury?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, pag natanggap ng Treasury yung bond, anong ginagawa dito? Pinapasok ba to sa isang account? At kaninong bank account? Separate ba to sa regular account ng agency or dun sa Treasury mismo?
Sa Treasury yun mismo, Mr. Chair.